She touched him, and split the universe in two. An explosion tore through the darkness like lightning across a black sky. Orange-blue fire spiraled in the vacuum, turning the hull of the Hermes 7 shuttle into a molten coil of metal. Captain Daniel K. hung in the pilot's harness, clutching a case sealed with a shimmering holographic lock. Blood trickled in a thin line down his temple. The red glow of a warning hologram flickered in front of his eyes, casting frantic shadows across the cockpit walls. But Daniel barely heard the blaring sirens. His mind reeled with a strange sensation, as though he'd already lived through this crash. He saw himself dying in flames. Or escaping. Or standing in some alien forest clearing beneath an unfamiliar sky, holding a clawed hand in his own. He blinked, trying to shake the vision away. "I've died here before," he muttered. "Or maybe that's just one version of me." The shuttle slammed into the atmosphere of Lucarian 3. Air burned in roaring sheets around the ship. Then, suddenly, silence. The metal hull hit the ground with a bone-shaking crash. Daniel crawled out of the twisted wreckage. Heat shimmered in the air. Sparks flew around him, filling the world with the scent of scorched plastic. The forest surrounding him was alien, dark green, full of massive blue vines and towering ferns that looked almost alive. He collapsed onto his knees, gasping for breath. In his ear, a crackling voice burst from his comm. "Warning, biological anomaly. Unidentified life form approaching." Daniel tried to laugh, but it came out more like a cough. Perfect. Just what I needed to round out my day. He lifted his blaster, squinting through the drifting smoke. And then she stepped out of the foliage. Tall. Nearly twice the height of a human. Scales shimmered across her skin, glittering in hues of green and gold like living opal. Two long, curved horns cast sharp shadows over the leaves. Her face was beautiful, and terrifying all at once. She stopped before him, arms folded across her chest. Her amber eyes glowed with an eerie light. Human. Her voice was low and strangely melodic. "You do not belong here." Daniel staggered to his feet, a stubborn grin twisting his lips. "Oh yeah? You wouldn't happen to have a manual on how to leave if your shuttle just turned into a toaster, would you?" Her stare turned frosty. For an instant, the jungle around them seemed to shiver. It vanished, and Daniel saw two images at once. In one, she stabbed him with her claws, blood spraying across her scales. In the other, she grabbed his hand and pulled him into a corridor blazing with light. He blinked. And the world snapped back to normal. She was still standing there, head tilted slightly. A flicker of pain crossed her eyes. "You're dangerous. To yourself, and to everything that exists." He exhaled, his voice rasping. "Well, nice to meet you too." She stepped closer. Her shimmering scales shifted with each movement. He caught a faint scent, sharp and metallic, like hot metal and exotic spices. "I am Nalessa," she said at last. "And if you stay here, you will die." Daniel gave her a crooked smile. "Wow. It's so heartwarming how welcome I feel right now." She narrowed her eyes. "Humans are forbidden on Lucarian 3. The High Council considers your kind a threat." He sighed, lowering his blaster slightly. "Okay. Fine. I'll admit it. I'm just here spying on your negotiations. Nothing personal." A spark of amber fire ignited in her gaze. "Spies die quickly here." He lifted an eyebrow. "Oh. Charming. How about we get a coffee first?" At that moment, shouts echoed through the undergrowth. Low, rhythmic voices chanted like a battle hymn. Daniel heard a sharp clicking sound, then in the next instant, a bolt of blue plasma struck a tree trunk beside him, blasting bark into a cloud of dust. She lunged forward and shoved him aside. "Stay down." "Oh, so now you want to save me?" "I don't know." Soldiers burst from the foliage. Their faces were hidden behind golden masks shaped like insect heads. Long spears crackled with arcs of electric energy. Daniel reflexively raised his blaster. Nalessa slapped his hand away. "Don't shoot. They'll kill you instantly." "Got any better ideas?" She gave a tense sigh, the tips of her horns crackling with faint sparks. "Run. Now." But the Lucarian soldiers were already advancing. The first shot of plasma seared past Daniel's ear, tearing a spray of leaves from a nearby plant. He dove sideways, dragging Nalessa with him. "Lady, this is really not the time for a debate on interspecies relations," she hissed, and a torrent of electric light burst from her horns. 3 soldiers crumpled to the ground, convulsing in spasms. Daniel stared at her, stunned. "Wow. Okay. So I definitely know who's the boss in this relationship." She turned to him, and in her amber eyes glimmered something strange. For an instant, he saw flashing visions. They were running together, hand in hand, through a vortex of fire. She stood over his body, her eyes full of grief. The world around them seemed to crackle like shattering glass. She seized his hand. Her claws dug lightly into his skin. "Run with me. Now." Their fingers intertwined. And in that instant, the air exploded with a sharp crystalline crack, as if the very fabric of space was tearing apart. Daniel felt it in his bones. The universe had just split in 2. They ran through the jungle, crashing through ferns that glowed faintly blue in the shadows. The air around them shimmered as if dust made of diamond shards hung suspended in every breath. Daniel panted heavily, barely able to keep pace with Nalessa. She moved like a creature born of pure energy, silent, fierce, coiled with tension. Suddenly, everything went silent. Ahead yawned the dark mouth of a cave. Crystals inside pulsed with a soft emerald glow, casting moving patterns across the stone walls. She pushed him inside and motioned sharply for him to stay quiet. He leaned against the rock, gasping. "Well, fabulous field trip. When exactly did this turn into a honeymoon on an alien planet?" She stood with her back to him, her long tail twitching slowly from side to side like a predator deciding whether to strike. "Don't joke." Her voice was low, almost trembling. "This is far more dangerous than you understand." He lifted his gaze, his voice softening a little. "Yeah, I got that. If I stop joking, I'll lose my mind." She was silent for a long time. Then she turned around. Her amber eyes glowed with a strange sorrow. "I have seen millions of outcomes. In every one, you die. In every one, except one." He froze, his fingers brushing over the grip of his blaster, though he didn't draw it. "Well, fantastic. So what am I doing in this one outcome?" She lowered her eyes. "In that outcome, we are together." He stared at her. "Wait. What does together mean?" She stepped closer until she was almost touching him. The scales along her skin glowed softly gold. He could smell her, metallic, like hot steel mixed with pine and something warm and spicy. "It means that I stop being a guardian of probabilities. That I stop seeing the futures. Everything else disappears. Only one world remains. And you are in it." He swallowed. "And does that scare you?" She nodded, barely perceptibly. "I was never taught to choose one outcome. I was taught to see them all. To protect reality." He gave a small, shaky smile. "Let me tell you a secret. Humans never see all outcomes. We just live. Day after day. Even though we have no idea where it all leads." She gave a short, bitter laugh. "How romantic. A man who doesn't know how he will die thinks he's lucky. Hey, you've got a strange idea of romance." Abruptly, she grabbed his face in both hands. Her claws lightly pricked his skin. Desperation blazed in her amber eyes. "I can't watch you die anymore." He slowly lifted a hand and laid it over hers. Her scales felt cool beneath his fingertips, but underneath, there was a pulsing, vibrant heat. "Then don't watch. Just look at me. Here. Now." She pulled back, breathing hard, her head bowed as if fighting some war inside herself. "I should kill you. That is the Council's order. If I don't, everything may collapse. And if you do, I collapse. Which is better?" She squeezed her eyes shut. "You don't understand." He gave her a soft smile, his voice dropping to a gentle murmur. "Maybe I don't understand everything. But I know one thing. I don't want you to kill me. Even if it saves the world." She stared at him as though seeing him for the first time. Then suddenly, she dragged a claw slowly across the curve of one horn, as if weighing whether she could truly do what she'd been ordered to do. A sound interrupted them. Footsteps echoed from deep inside the cave. Metallic, slow, heavy. She shoved Daniel behind a chunk of stone. Stay hidden. From the shadows stepped Lucarian warriors, golden masks glinting like the faces of mantises. At their head was the crimson-cloaked warrior Daniel had glimpsed in flashes of possibility. His eyes burned cold blue. His cloak rippled as if it were alive. He spoke softly, but steel threaded his voice. Nalissa. You have crossed the line. The High Council orders your elimination, and his. She straightened, towering over Daniel now. She looked more regal than ever, but a trembling thread of fear ran through her words. He's not at fault. This is all me. The warrior slowly tilted his head. He is human. He is the anomaly tearing the fabric of reality. Your bond with him is an existential threat. Daniel stepped forward. Yeah, hi there. Human catastrophe here. But maybe if you don't kill me, the universe will stay in one piece. The warrior's lips twisted in a cold sneer. The universe does not need your love. It needs stability. He hurled his spear. Time seemed to slow. Nalissa lunged forward and shielded Daniel with her body. A blast of energy slammed into her chest. Her back arched in agony, a cry tearing from her throat. She crumpled into Daniel's arms. Nalissa. Daniel shouted. The warrior advanced, pity shadowing his alien face. Forgive her. She was strong. But she made the wrong choice. Daniel cradled her. She was gasping for breath, blood glistening on her lips. Why are you still here? She whispered. He gave a teary, trembling smile. Because I choose you. Even if the whole world is against us. She met his eyes. In her pupils shimmered a distant light, like the shine of far-off stars. You idiot, she murmured. You're my only outcome. In that moment, light exploded around them. Wind howled through the cave, shaking rocks loose from the ceiling. The air itself seemed to fracture and twist. The Crimson Warrior raised a hand, but froze, eyes widening in shock and terror. What have you done? He whispered. You've erased all the outcomes. There's only one left. Nalissa lifted a trembling arm. Her voice was weak but resolute. Ishos. One reality. Him. The warrior shut his eyes. A single tear rolled down his cheek. Then, let it be so. Golden light surged through the cave. The world trembled around them. Swirling spirals of stardust danced in the air, and when it all stilled, they were standing in a forest once more. The trees were intact. Berçant. Sunlight poured through green leaves. The Lucarian soldiers stood silent around them, weapons lowered. Nalissa leaned heavily against Daniel. Are we alive? He gave her a small, stunned grin. Looks like it. And, so is the universe, apparently. She laughed, a shaky, tearful sound. Then maybe, this is worth trying. One single reality. He hugged her tighter, breathing in her scent, cool, spicy, alien, and somehow familiar. Welcome to my reality. She gazed up at him, infinity reflected in her golden eyes. No. Now it's our reality. And the stars overhead flared brighter, as if they too were choosing one outcome over all the rest. White light still shimmered in Daniel's eyes as he realized he was lying on solid ground. He blinked, breathing hard, and found himself sprawled in the forest. All around him, the world glowed with a soft golden haze. Beside him, barely conscious, lay Nalissa. She was clutching the spot on her chest where the energy blast had struck. Her scales looked duller than before, like metal left out in the rain. But her eyes still burned with fierce light. He gently touched her face. Hey, you with me? She nodded weakly. I think, yes. Although I still feel like I might disintegrate into atoms. He let out a shaky laugh through tears. Welcome to the one and only outcome. She gazed into his eyes, her voice barely a whisper. I can't see the probabilities anymore. It's all gone. There's only one world left. He held her closer. Perfect. Then that's our world. Footsteps crunched nearby. From the trees emerged the Crimson Warrior. But there was no rage left in him now. His mask was gone, revealing a face lined with exhaustion and deep shadows beneath alien eyes. He looked like someone who'd suddenly realized that all his wisdom meant nothing. He stared at them for a long moment, then spoke. You rewrote the universe. That shouldn't be possible. Yet you did it. Nalessa lifted her head. We chose. Together. The warrior slowly lowered his gaze. His voice was rough with bitterness and wonder. I've spent my life watching the outcomes, believing that protecting a billion worlds was the most important thing. But maybe the only thing that matters is one world. One right choice. He took a step back, his shoulders sagging. The High Council will never accept this. They'll call you a threat. Nalessa slowly rose to her feet. Though she was trembling, her voice rang with new strength. Then let them come. We're done hiding. We're done living in fear. The warrior bowed his head. His eyes softened. I won't fight you. I'm too tired of fighting. He turned and disappeared into the jungle, fading into the glow of blue leaves and silver mist. When he was gone, Daniel slowly let out a long breath. Okay, that was impressive. But let's get one thing straight. Did we just save the universe, or did we break it? She gave him a trembling smile. I think we saved it. Although it's not the same universe anymore. He laughed, his voice raw and full of relief. Awesome. I love new things. Although I'd prefer them to come without explosions and people trying to stab me. She reached out a clawed hand and lightly traced his cheek. Sleep allons à you want. We have a whole lifetime ahead of us. He blinked at her, his heart thundering. Is that a proposal? She hesitated. Her tail flicked nervously behind her. No. Well, maybe. He burst out laughing and pulled her close. Okay. I'll accept. As long as we get to go somewhere at least once where no one tries to kill us. She let out a quiet huff. I'd like that too. He glanced up at the sky. Stars sparkled overhead, bright and sharp, as though they'd been freshly lit. Tel me something. If every thought we have can create a new universe, why are we all so afraid to make mistakes? She leaned in, pressing her forehead to his, her scales cool against his skin. Because maybe, there's only one universe worth living in. The one where I'm with you. He exhaled, gripping her hands tightly. Then let's make that universe. Together.
She closed her eyes, a single tear slipping free.
Together. They stood amid the alien jungle, the leaves whispering around them, starlight spilling through the branches. And somewhere far out in the depths of the multiverse, it felt as if reality itself exhaled, a quiet cosmic sigh, because two beings in a single world had chosen love. And all around them, it was as though the universe at last accepted this new outcome.